If you are interested in sending your child to schools that are more indicative of what Alex Jones would want to teach them, consider moving to Tennessee, where the Republican Speaker of the House just appointed a conspiracy theorist to oversee the state's social studies curriculum, because of course they did. Now, her name is Laurie Cardoza-Moore, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her and what her beliefs are. Last week, Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton announced that he had appointed Laurie Cardoza-Moore to serve on the Tennessee Standards Recommendation Committee to oversee social studies materials being reviewed for use in classrooms statewide. Previously, she had also been appointed by the same person, Sexton, to the Tennessee Textbook and Instructional Materials Quality Commission, which is of course in charge of what you think it would be in charge of, the recommendations for the official list of textbooks and instructional materials for approval of the State Board of Education. Now, Cardoza-Moore has a long history of saying things that lunatics would say. She has called US history textbooks currently used in classrooms the greatest national security threat to the United States, okay? Which seems totally reasonable. With her new appointment, Cardoza-Moore will have the power to submit final recommendations for social studies standards to the state board. Great news if you want your kids to be taught insane things. In a statement about her new position, she said this: "The materials we will be reviewing can only accomplish the mission of educating good American citizens if our Tennessee textbooks are devoid of left-aligned historic revisionism and the toxic material found in the antisemitic critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion, social emotional learning, and ethnic studies." Like, these are all the things that she wants to do away with because she thinks that it's actually harming kids. I didn't know that CRT is now being branded as anti-Semitic by conservatives who don't really know what CRT is.
Yeah, no, that's a joke and it's hilarious. But let's give you more insanity from this lady. She once called the Tennessee mosque a terrorist training camp. She said that 30% of all Muslims are terrorists. And
then when she was asked, oh, where did you get that stat from? You know, she said the internets.
Oh, well then there you go. By the way, that is 500 million people. 500 million people are apparently terrorists. I'm surprised they haven't done more damage. And by the way, when asked if she's anti-Muslim, she said no, of course not.
Come on.
Okay, I mean these guys, as always, a joke. Let's go to graphic 7. If you think that's funny, in 2011. Cardoza-Moore claimed that former President Barack Obama was causing, quote, horrific tornadoes, of course he was, because he made a speech that discussed the plight of Palestinians.
That does lead to horrific tornadoes.
Yeah. No, she's being put in charge of children's textbooks.
You know what?
She thinks that Barack Obama caused tornadoes with his mind because he thought that Palestinians should be treated well. Like, am I supposed to respect that? Am I supposed to debate that? I mean, what do you do with that? But now among Republicans, that is considered perfectly normal. Let's put her in charge of the textbooks. Because this is not a rando. This is not we found her on Facebook. No, they put her in charge. So I got one more for you guys. I have 1,000 more, but I'll give you one more. Remember how there was that plot to kidnap the Michigan governor? Graphic 9. She said about it, am I missing something here? Didn't the founders address removing a tyrant from office in the Constitution? Michiganders, it's time to step up and defend your constitutional rights. She's defending a plot to kidnap and potentially murder the governor of Michigan, put in charge of textbooks that children are gonna read.
I know, but aren't you worried about T-shirts that Target sells and how they could harm kids?
I mean, I'm so worried about rainbows. As I said earlier in the show, I mean,
rainbows are dangerous.
I think we gotta hit Hawaii over there before they hit us over here with all their rainbows, okay? And so, but I mean,
I don't know what to do.
What do you do?
Like, what do you do with this?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, she's literally a lunatic. Look, and by the way, guys, at the same time, understand that it's easy for all of us in the rational world, et cetera, to say these things. But I know that there are tons and tons and tons of people who believe in conspiracy theories. So she is, of course, a conspiracy theorist on 9/11. She thinks, well, Al-Qaeda might have had some part to do with it, but come on, about the other. I don't even know what the rest of that sentence is. I don't know that I want to know. She believes in almost every conspiracy theory, but so do tens of millions of Americans. And so we laugh and stuff, but for a lot of people, they go, oh yeah, oh finally, someone sensible's in charge.
I mean, I think that it shows you, this is what happens when there's a lack of trust in our institutions, when there's a lack of trust in legacy media outlets. Look, I think what happened in the lead up to the Iraq War in 2003 is a good example of why Americans don't trust legacy media outlets. The New York Times was completely cheerleading for that preemptive war in Iraq, which American families sent their sons and daughters to fight repeatedly, repeat deployments. They come back to the United States, no real health care, no mental health care. Many of those veterans are now living on the streets, right? And who cheerleaded for that war? Who manufactured consent for that war? The same media organizations that are now puzzled about why these conspiracy theorists would much rather believe the garbage coming out of Alex Jones's mouth as opposed to what they're reporting on. That is a problem.
Yeah, she refers to herself as Laurie Cardoza-Moore, THD, that's for theology, but her doctorate is an honorary doctorate degree in theology from the Latin University of Theology, an unaccredited diploma mill.
Awesome.
She's being put in charge of education when she has none herself. And of course, she thought the people who did January 6th were Antifa. Of course. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.